Job card number 523471. Adjust cabin compressor control intake on number 1 motor. Job number 2009. Make a bite block in preparation for the construction of a partial upper denture. Work construction number 4015. Make 230 volt connection to number 5 transformer, yellow phase. Reference 75. Apply medium brown tint to regrowth. Leave for 10 minutes and run through. Job ticket number 7431. 2 litho shots, 1/3 reduction, 3 continuous tone shots, 1 at 1.8 for the false color on the girl's hair. Site instruction number 74. Join 4x3 down pipes in preparation to fixing to outside walls. By a contract of apprenticeship, a person is bound to another for the purpose of learning a trade or calling. The apprentice undertaking to serve the master for the purpose of being taught, and the master undertaking to teach the apprentice.
When you first start in the tool room, you want to operate all the machines because they're new and exciting to you. The planer. This is a good machine. You stand there feeling very proud because you've got a huge job on the table. Sometimes you're a bit afraid it won't pan out the way you want it to, although you're still under the eye of an experienced tradesman, of course. If you get through without any mishaps, you feel good. You know you're doing okay. I'm one of many apprentice fitters and turners working here. Although we're learning the trade with a firm of automobile manufacturers, you won't see any of us actually producing cars. Our work is concerned with making the punches, dies, jigs and gauges for all the complex machines which produce and assemble the parts. My name is Robert Carroll. I was born in London. I lived there until I was 7. Dad had his own plumbing shop, but for my sake he thought we could do better in Australia. We lived here in a suburb of Geelong for a couple of years, but we liked the Butte beaches just a few miles out of town. Dad saved up, bought a block of land, and built a house. I went to a secondary school for 4 years. I wasn't a particularly brilliant scholar, but I always managed to pass my exams. I found technical drawing interesting, but most of all, I liked working with my hands. Metalwork was one of my favourite subjects. I think when you leave school, you're a bit confused. Choosing the right career isn't easy. The Commonwealth Employment Service will advise you. If you're really uncertain, they'll give you an aptitude test. Once they know what kind of trade interests you, they'll find you an apprenticeship. Within each industry, there is a great variety of firms, both large and small. It suited me to go to a larger one.
Parents are often very uncertain about what's involved in an apprenticeship for their boy. We like to meet them and give them as clear a picture as we can.
Well, we're trying to decide whether our boy should leave school, and if he does, we're wondering whether an apprenticeship might be the best thing for him.
Well, first of all, if your son has the ability and you can keep him on at school, then do it. Worthwhile careers are calling for and encouraging higher qualifications these days, and apprenticeship's no exception. Fourth and fifth year secondary school qualifications can mean a reduction to the traditional 5-year term of apprenticeship, and in addition to this, the higher the qualifications an apprentice has, and the greater is his chance for promotion. As an example, there's the superintendent of the engine plant, Mr. Lloyd Foster. He's an ex-apprentice. And Mr. Ivan Tan Singh, who is manager of the stamping engineering department. He has full responsibility for planning production methods for the stamping plant. Successful completion of apprenticeship means not only the development of a good craftsman, but development of character. This contract is administered by the State Apprenticeship Commission. The Commission consists of representatives of employers, trade unions, and the State Education Department, and safeguard the interest of the apprentice and the employer. This company has one particular advantage, an apprentice training centre where the lads spend their first year. This is a transition period where they change from schoolboys to workmen. In the Apprentice Centre workshop, apprentices receive training in fitting and machining from skilled apprentice instructors to equip them with the basic skills necessary before transferring to the tool room. The work produced is not for production, but rather are items of tooling selected for their training content, which become part of the apprentice's personal kit. Each apprentice spends a period of time becoming familiar with some of the administration aspects of industry, such as recording hours spent on each job, and so on. We recognise that an apprentice is a lad in his most formative years. We endeavour to give them an education for life. It's our responsibility to see that the boys get the very best training in their field. They work to a definite program, 6 weeks in one section, 6 weeks in another, and so on.
My name is Joe Baranski. I am a second-year apprentice. I'm setting up a component for machining which is part of a fixture used in the production of a car floor panel. My name is Fred Varland. I'm a third-year apprentice. I'm locating a locking clamp on the fixture which is used for the assembly of a car body.
My name is Conrad Vinken. I'm in my final year of apprenticeship. I am being instructed in the drafting of a die used for the production of an engine oil pan.
My name is Max Stein. I'm a fourth-year apprentice. I'm learning what is involved in planning the methods required for the mass production of this radiator grille.
Keeping their interest up, developing their potential, developing them as people, these are the things you have to aim for. Our reports show not only an apprentice's technical development, but his cooperation, dependability, comprehension and resourcefulness. The reports allow us to help him to keep a clear attitude towards himself as well as his work. With boys of this age, you've got to expect a few bumpy passages here and there.
Sometime in your second or third year, the work seems to lose its excitement. Your mind tends to wander. During the summer, I get down to the beach at 5 in the morning and surf until 6:30. It's the best time of the day. Weekends, I like to stay here all day. It's very peaceful. Those guys, running around in cars with plenty of money in their pockets. 2 years to go before I'm a qualified tradesman. Sometimes I wonder if I'll stick it out. Saturday night, everybody gathers in McCann Street. This is the place to meet people and show off your car or your latest girlfriend. That is, if you have one.
Hi, girls.
Hello, Bruce.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good.
Long time no see.
Oh,
we've been down to the
yes, been down to the beach, haven't we?
Yeah. Lots
Where
of
have you
yachts
been
lately.
lately?
Come on, mate.
Tennis.
Just when you've completely lost interest and you're ready to give up, your supervisor does something unexpected. Blimey, they're putting me on the profile miller. Usually only fifth-year apprentices are allowed to operate this machine. Yeah, emergency stop button. I remember where that one is. Inch the tracer in carefully, or you'll ram the backplate behind the mock-up and damage the edges. Okay, now, move it down slowly onto the mock-up. Pressure should be approximately 10 pounds. Whew, just made that one. Good, that looks okay. Now, set the cutter speed and here goes. So far, so good. I hope this comes out okay. If I ruin it, they won't be very happy. I must remember what he said when it comes down the front. Retract the drill as it progresses to keep the chuck clear. Blimey, if I make a slip here, I've had it. I'll hold up the whole retooling program. Beauty, I made it. You come to realize your supervisors aren't just there to discipline you. They want to help you, to see you achieve something in life. It's funny, when you start concentrating on the things in front of you, life seems to go much smoother. It took me quite a while to save up for my first car, but it was worth it. I was a proud man when I drove it down to McCann Street.
This is the involute curve, which is generated off the base circle. Part of this involute curve is used for our gear tooth. Now over here we have an enlarged view of the gear tooth. One of the proportions of this gear tooth is the hole depth. The formula, the hole depth that we see here, is 2.157 over dp.
Maths didn't come easily to me. I did pass it, but it was a battle, whereas the other subjects I got through fairly easily. For the first 3 years of an apprenticeship, you go to the tech for 1 day a week, in the firm's time, and the firm pays your fees. If you show aptitude and interest, many firms send you off for further courses in 4th year. The instructors are mostly ex-apprentices who've worked in the trade. I think you have to experience actual job conditions before you can start trying to tell somebody else the theory behind it all. When I first started, I was more keen on the practical side, the machines and the bench work. Now I'm finding more interest in the theoretical side. 4th year, when we're posted to special areas, is probably the most interesting of all. When you start in the drafting office, you get a lot of small work, fairly basic things. Generally, the greater part of your apprenticeship is spent doing odd bits here and there. You can't claim that you've done much of the car. I did get onto one really big job, designing part of the steering column for the latest series of cars. I was working pretty closely under the designer in charge of the project, but it was something to see these columns come to life from the drawings, then to see the cars driving around the road and be able to say, well, I helped to make that. In quality control, you really see the theory you've learnt in class tying up. All the steel used is put through pretty rigid testing before it's made up. Breaking strain, yield point elongation, chemical analysis, microstructures. You learn to use the latest equipment, checking the finished product against the original blueprints, making sure there are no deviations. I was a bit awestruck when I came in here at first. This is where the shapes of new cars are born. It's a top security area which only a few people are allowed to see. We make everything out of clay. Then we make a plaster or a fiberglass cast. The designers explain to us what they want. Make it hollow there, they say. Make this flow more. Sweeten up that line. You've got to get the feeling for modelling into your hands. It's surprising how many different materials are used in making a full-scale mock-up. This polyester gel coat must be applied quickly once the catalyst has been added. After the layers of glass mat are put on and the whole section is removed, the gel gives a smooth finish. I found I like working in the design centre better than anywhere else. As a matter of fact, with any luck, I could be assigned here next year. Of course, this would mean a good deal more study, which the firm would be prepared to pay for. There are all sorts of opportunities in a place like this. At least a third of any batch of apprentices end up in specialised sections other than the tool room. When you first start your apprenticeship, you don't know what to aim for. Then you find you've got more aptitude, more liking for a certain section, and you set yourself a goal in life. Once you're through, what? Well, you might stay on at the same firm, or you might go off and get experience at some other place. I think that when you live in a town, you go to school in that town, you work in that town, then sooner or later you get that gnawing feeling inside you. I haven't been anywhere. I haven't seen anything. Some of the young blokes, after they finish their apprenticeship, move around a bit. It's good experience and gives you a chance to see Australia.
Well, I gotta get the world off of my back. Oh, pretty soon I'm gonna crack. So I gotta get the world off my back somehow.
They go up to the Snowy Mountains, or Queensland, or the Northern Territory, or to Western Australia and work with one of the big construction gangs. You can make a lot of money. Save it up and you've got enough to settle down. But it's not just the idea of saving money that's attractive. It's the adventure, the challenge. The whole country is developing rapidly. Tradesmen are in short supply everywhere. Fitters and turners are basic to most industries. And wherever you go, your qualifications go with you. For me, time enough to think about travelling later on. Right now, I want to stay in the design section for the next 2 years. Looking back, I think one of the hardest things about being an apprentice was earning less money than some of your friends. But once you're through, it's a different story. This is what you've got to work for, to say to yourself, I've got a trade behind me. It's worth it in the end.
My name is Joe Baranski. I am a second-year apprentice. I'm setting up a component for machining, which is part of a fixture used in the production of a car floor panel.
My name is Fred Varland. I'm a third-year apprentice. I'm locating a locking clamp on the fixture which is used for the assembly of a car body.
My name is Conrad Vinken. I'm in my final year of apprenticeship. I am being instructed in the drafting of a die used for the production of an engine oil pan.
My name is Robert Carroll. I finished my apprenticeship